What's going on, people? My name is Adam, occasionally known as Mr. Buck, and today we are doing something a little bit different. We are doing a movie review because last night my brother Nicholas and I we went and we saw the movie Michael, which is a 2026 biopic directed by Antoine Fuqua, starring Jaafar Jackson, Nia Long, Coleman Domingo, Jessica Sula, Miles Teller, and surprisingly, Mike Myers. So obviously, the movie is about Michael Jackson. It is a story of one of the biggest pop stars in the world. He was the king of pop, and it shows his time growing up in Gary, Indiana, as a member of the Jackson Five with his brothers, all the way to his solo success with Quincy Jones and the CBS albums. Now, the movie begins with the Bad album. There's going to be spoilers, by the way. So you don't want spoilers. Don't watch this video. Go watch the movie and then come back. If you couldn't tell by the shirt, I am a Motown fan. I'm a huge Motown fan. And I know quite a great deal about Michael's beginnings, his humble beginnings, starting with his time with Steeltown in Gary, Indiana, and then getting signed by Motown with his brothers, the Jackson Five, and the grind that he made all the way from the Chitlin circuit and performing at the Regal Theater and Fox Theater and the Apollo to the Ed Sullivan Show and to the Dick Clark Show. So I know a lot about his backstory. So I was watching that movie with a different eye, if you know what I mean. So there were a lot of things that I liked about this movie. There were also a couple of things that I did not like. We're going to start with the good stuff first. The good, Jaafar Jackson nailed it. Jaafar killed it in this movie. He embodies Michael. Is Michael when you watch that movie. For those that don't know, Jaafar Jackson is the nephew of Michael Jackson. He is Jermaine Jackson's son. He was born in 1996, so no doubt he had plenty of time to see his living uncle doing his thing on stage, and he had a chance to study him quite masterfully. And we see that in the movie. Like, he's killing it. He is the dances, everything from the looks. There are times where he made certain looks, and it's like he looks like Michael. Like, they made him Michael for real. Giuliano Valdi was also very good. He played little Michael Jackson. We'll say pre off the wall Michael when he was on the Jackson Five and doing the Motown songs. When he's in the studio and they're doing the performances for "I Want You Back" and songs like "Who's Loving You." I know that both of them are singers in real life. I'm not sure how much of their vocals appear in the movie because a lot of it sounds like they took the Motown songs and the CBS epic songs and they just essentially remove the vocals from the instrumentals and they kind of play those throughout the movie, like in the studio scenes when they were recording. So I'm not sure how much, because it sounds like stems. I'm not sure how much singing they did on their own, but if they're lip syncing, it's really hard to tell. It's as accurate as accurate can be when it came to their performances. A lot of people are going to be comparing those two guys to what Wiley Draper and Jason Weaver did in the Jackson's American Dream. I couldn't help but think about that miniseries and compare the two. But I would say that between Jafar and Giuliano, they met my expectations. So in terms of the Michael stuff, that's what you're here for. If you're here for Michael, you're going to get Michael. So you won't be disappointed in that at all. Nia Long as Catherine. I like Nia Long. I want to see her do more parts like this. Because historically it's like, oh, Nia Long, that's the hot one, and we want to see her in the music videos. Like, all the rappers talk about her, like, oh, she's a baddie and this and that. But she can act. Like, I think she holds her own as an actress in this movie. I like to see Nia Long doing more dramatic pieces like this, and Nia Long becomes Catherine. And I'm not going to say it's kind of hard to compare her to Angela Bassett because it's Angela Bassett, you know, was Catherine when you watch the Jacksons in American Dream. I would say that they made Nia Long look more like the real Catherine. Like when you watch Michael, you're going to see Catherine on the screen. So props to Nia Long for that. And then obviously we have the music. they were able to get the catalogs from the Motown recordings, from the Epic Record CBS recordings. Because I can't tell you how many times I would see movies and they could not get the rights to a song. They even got a rights to I'm a Big Boy Now. I'm not sure how they pull that off. That was like one of the songs they made when they were on Steel Town. Like that's in the movie. And without the music, it's hard to watch a biopic. I can't stand when I watch biopics and we're seeing the person, but we don't see their actual song. So there's just like generic royalty-free music playing in the background. I'm looking at you, Flex, because that movie didn't that movie didn't have any of the music. It had its other problems as well. But you're going to be getting the actual music. You're going to be getting "I Want You Back." You're going to be getting ABC. You're going to be getting all the hits, the "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough" and Thriller and Beat It, Billie Jean, everything you love about the Michael catalog. It's in here, so you're going to be tapping your toes, you're going to be nodding your heads, so you're going to be on that nice little soundtrack ride for the duration of the film. And then there's Joseph. I don't want to call it a good performance, but um, I'll put it to you this way. If the movie's intention was to make us hate Joe Jackson, mission accomplished. Coleman Domingo as Joe was a super villain. He's the Thanos of this movie. I mean, it's no secret that Joe did corporal punishment on his children. And there's a scene where they show Michael getting beat with a belt, and it is uncomfortable. It is like I was getting sick. Like I was getting nauseous watching it. It was very uncomfortable. And the excuse is, oh, well, if I don't do this, they're going to be on the streets and they're going to be doing bad stuff and they're going to be stuck in Gary, Indiana and working at a steel mill just like me. So I need to like train them and get them out of the hood so that we can get to California. And all I'm doing is all for the family. We're going to get my family out of Gary. That's all he wanted to do, except for the part where they make it out of Gary and they make it to Encino, and he's still ruling over them with an iron fist. So even when Michael was an adult, he's ruling over Michael with an iron fist. And this is a grown man. Like he just made "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough," and he still has control over him. And it's like manipulative. It's nasty. It is gross. I hated every second Joe Jackson was on the screen. Every single second. But like I said, if that's what they wanted, then I guess they did their job. He called him Big Nose, which apparently the real Joe Jackson did that as well. And maybe that's, had something to do with the not one, but several rhinoplasties that happens in this movie. And we do see him getting nose jobs throughout the movie, at least 2 or 3 times. And it's like, well, did he have nasal problems? Did he have difficulty breathing? Or was his father just a bully and forced him to do that? Miles Teller in the movie as John Branca, I was worried they were going to get too much John Branca and they were going to kind of do like a BIG Puffy thing where, oh, John Branca was Michael's best friend. And, I'm glad that they did not give us too much. We got enough and we got what we needed to hear out of Miles Teller as John Branca. So I would say it wasn't too much. It wasn't not enough. So I saw what they gave us what we needed to have with that character. And now it's time for the bad. Who's bad? It's my same problem with every biopic. They'll show a big moment, hit the fast forward button. Big moment, fast forward button. Big moment, fast forward button. So they skip over a lot of stuff. In fairness, the movie was only 2 hours, so there's only so much you can show in a 2 hour movie. My only problem is the things that you do show, you can at least make sure you get those things right because there were a lot of inaccuracies. And if you know, you know. If you don't know, it probably won't bother you. But I'm watching the movie and they're still the Jackson Five and they're not even on Motown yet. And they start performing Never Can Say Goodbye. And I'm like, that song is on Maybe Tomorrow, which is like their fourth or fifth album. Why are they singing this song before they signed with Motown? That makes no sense. They also did Stand, which is on their first album, Diana Ross Presents. And I'm like, they're doing Motown songs before they sign for Motown. Now, I will give them that, okay, well, Stand is a Sly Stone song. So maybe they knew Stand before they signed with Berry Gordy. Maybe. And I think they did say that they were Sly Stone fans. So I'll give them a pass on that. I also give them a pass on the choreography because they nailed the choreography. 'Cause I've seen them do Stand on the Ed Sullivan Show. And whoever did whoever played Jackie and Marlon, I don't know their names off the top of my head, but they killed the choreography. The same thing on Never Can Say Goodbye. So I kind of let that slide. And then they were at the Regal Theater, and it shows Suzanne DePass at the Regal Theater, and she sees Joe backstage, and she's like, "Hey, Joe, you want to get these boys on Motown? I can help with that. Here's my card." And I'm like, that didn't happen either. Gladys Knight was the one who tried to get them on Motown. It was Gladys. And then later on, when Gladys could not get them on Motown, Bobby Taylor tried again. And Bobby got them that audition in Detroit when they were doing that James Brown song, Baby, Baby, Baby. They were doing that song at the Hitsville building in Detroit. And that was not in the movie. So I'm like, this is a little bit inaccurate, but I'm trying to block my mind out of that. But once again, Motown fan, so I know these things. And then later on, it shows Marlon and Tito is still living with Michael in Encino. And I'm like, no, Michael was not living with Marlon because Marlon got married early. So did Tito. They moved out. And so if there was any interaction, that should have been Randy. Randy is not in the movie. Randy was still living there. Randy and Latoya. Reby was gone. Reby's not in the movie either. But the interactions, that should have been Randy, but Randy is the younger brother. So this whole thing about, playing Twister with his older brothers, I feel like that was just in there for the sake of being in there and kind of show that, well, Michael didn't want to grow up yet, and he was obsessed with staying a child and trying to keep his youthful innocence. He was obsessed with Peter Pan and, the Never Never Land story. And I feel like that scene was just added just to tie into that narrative, which to me, I don't think that was the right call. But there were siblings who were not mentioned by name. Reby, Randy, Janet, not mentioned by name, not in the movie, period. And then there were things that it's like, okay, well, I think that happened. I don't think it happened in the order that you guys are telling me it happened in. So I guess apparently Michael shot a bunch of videos before uh, Walter Yetnikoff, Mike Myers, basically threatened to pull all of his artists off of MTV. But they had Thriller in the can already ready to go before they did Motown 25. I'm pretty sure that Thriller was filmed after Motown 25. So it's not like a deal breaker, but it's still like, yeah, can you get this a little bit tight? Like the way it's edited, and I understand that they had to do some massive editing to this movie because the movie ends abruptly. Like it comes to a screeching halt. It starts off at the Bad Tour, flashbacks to the Jackson 5 stuff, and then it picks up linearly, and then it ends where it began, which is the Bad Tour. He does the song Bad, and then once he does Bad, it just says his story continues, and then credits. And that's the movie. The movie just ends right there. And so a lot of people were like, that's it. We now know that they intended to go into the dangerous and history years, and that meant they would have had to address the allegations. And by allegations, you know what I'm talking about. So the rumors that what should have been the third act was scrapped from the movie, and the movie was going to be 4 hours long, and there's enough room on the cutting room floor where they could go back and get an editor and make a part two. Is there going to be a part two? I guess we'll see how this movie does at the box office. But as I'm sitting here on a Sunday, they haven't counted today's numbers, but in terms of opening day Friday and Saturday, it's already made 97 million at the box office. So that sounds pretty good to me. Maybe there will be a part two. And once again, the biggest selling point is going to be anytime you see Michael on screen, whether it's little Michael or big Michael, when he is on screen, you're going to be enjoying it. If you're a fan of Michael's solo work, in particular, the stuff he did with Quincy Jones, so we're talking the Off the Wall album, the Thriller album, the Bad album, you're a fan of the works that come from those projects, then you're going to be in for a treat when you go see this because the songs are in it, and some of the videos are reenacted. And the Motown 25, one of my favorite performances, is reenacted as well. So you're going to be really digging that. We see them working on Beat It, and there is a guy who looks like the choreographer, Michael Peters. He's got the shades and the white jacket. It's like, I think that's him. And I think that's what's her face? Batten, the female guitar shredder from the Dirty Diana video. I think she's in it. They don't mention her by name, but that looks like her. We see a keyboard player who looks like Greg Fillinganes. We see some congas, and there are some hands moving on the congas at the Victory Tour. So maybe that's Randy. Randy's hands were in the movie. All right, good job. There are some name drops. They name drop Rod Temperton. Rod Temperton wrote Rock With You. I think he also wrote the song Thriller. So, and, Rod Temperton, he was the organ player from Heat Wave. They had the song Always and Forever. They name drop him. We don't see him, but it's like, okay, we know that he was involved on those projects with Off the Wall and Thriller in particular. So it's nice to hear the name. But me being, a music fan, a music connoisseur, I kind of want to see them too. So it's like anybody who is a studier of music and they read the liner notes and then you know who these guys are, like you know who Toto is, you know who Eddie Van Halen is. You kind of want to see them in the studio at least once or twice, but once again, it's only a 2-hour movie. It's like 127 minutes. So it's only so much room you can put into the movie. But, we're here for Michael. So we got good Michael, little Michael, and big Michael. They're both great. Would I recommend this movie? Yes, I would recommend this movie, just with the caveat that there are going to be some things that were either out of order or just didn't happen. Like, I don't think John Branca fired Joe with a fax machine. I don't think that happened either. But it's like we get the point, and the audience popped when when Joe got fired. They popped. They were like, "Yay, woohoo!" It's like they were happy to see Joe get fired. So it's like, all right, the super villain, I guess, Thanos, got snapped at the end. And we see that, with the Victory Tour. He's like, Michael, I'm talking to you, boy. And Michael just walks away. And he's like, nope, I'm out. Peace. And so I'm like, all right, well, that's what he's supposed to do. Standing up to, the bully, even though the bully is his dad, unfortunately. So to get the feeling of who Michael was and who he was becoming, I'd say it is a recommend. Some of the other little things, me being uh, a former DJ and someone who really knew the behind the scenes stuff and listening to podcasts, it takes it down a few notches from my perspective, from the Motown super fan perspective. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it 7.5. But what do you guys think? Did you see the Michael movie? Are you planning to see it? What's your favorite biopic? Leave a comment in the section below. And if you like to see more videos like this, whether it's a reenactment or whether it's a review of a project, let me know. I'll be interested to know that. Maybe I can do some more. Maybe I can get a press pass and I can get into Comic Cons for free. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time. Take care.